following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Sounds 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick and Michael Sindrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a Wednesday afternoon, and if you look up in the skies, boy, it looks like it's going to pour. Where we are, that has not happened yet, but get ready because it is likely. Okay, we got a good show for you today, a lot of football talk to get into. Let's call roll, head up to the plateau, and say hello to the one and only Coach Watson Brown. Watson, how are you?
There can't be two of this thing. There's no doubt. I'd say you're dead on that one.
So you all have gotten a bunch of rain.
Yeah, we did. I bragged about how nice and pretty and sunny it was yesterday. Woo! Somebody got me back for that one. It has flooded up here. I'm telling you, I haven't seen so much rain in 30 minutes in all my life. So everything's clean.
Get ready. We may be sending you more.
Oh, please don't. I've had enough.
Father Ryan grad Billy Derrick making motions like he wants to speak.
That's what we're going with now, George.
Well, you tell me. He wants to speak.
Yeah, I want to speak, but Terry McCormick also does as well, George.
I know. He's in the on-deck circle.
He is in the on-deck circle, and he is sponsored by the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners. They are proven to be trusted with your most personal asset. The Justin Tucker team, call them at 615-906-8458. He's also sponsored by Sumner Funeral and Cremation. They are sharing their family with yours in your time of need, now with two convenient locations in Gallatin and Hendersonville, and online at sumnerfuneral.com. Sumner Funeral and Cremation, traditional, affordable, and dignified.
Okay, now Terry will not be with us tomorrow. He and the child will be traveling. Terry, when do you get to Fenway?
No, actually, I will be on tomorrow. It's Friday that I won't be on. It's Friday that we're going.
Okay.
So
well, let's not let facts get in the way of a good story.
Exactly.
So when are you going to Fenway?
Friday night.
Oh, I'm envious. Get there early.
I'm looking forward to it. Never been to Fenway, so I'm really looking forward to this.
Trust me. I've been there twice. Get there early. You want to take all of it in. And if you're lucky, you'll run into a bunch of Red Sox fans who hate the Yankees.
I'm sure there will be plenty of those.
Yeah.
So but maybe we can remind them that they are hopelessly out of contention.
Yes, I noticed last night, 17 back. So, Terry, the Titans are flying right now as we speak up to Baltimore for their preseason opener. Given that now there are only 3 preseason games, how much different do teams play this whole scenario out than they used to?
Well, I think what you get is a lot of teams now use the preseason to really look at young players. You won't see Derrick Henry. I don't think you're going to see Ryan Tannehill. I don't think you're going to see Robert Woods and maybe not Taylor Lewan. I think what teams use this for really is to evaluate players to see who can do what, who shows them something on special teams, who can make a play, a young receiver that might go up in traffic and make a catch. Those are the sorts of things I think that teams look to, because used to there would be this dress rehearsal game that was the third preseason game. Now that's kind of become the second game of the 3, and the last preseason game is still the one where you take a last look at some of these guys who are on the roster bubble that may be playing with you for the last time.
Who are the players and who are the Uber drivers? So, Terry, did you like that line?
I like that.
Yeah, you can use it. So
thank you.
When they get back, Tampa Bay comes in here next week, not only for game number 2, but for a few days of practice. Talk to me about how that will all play out.
Well, what you'll see there is Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay offense will go against the Titans defense, and then the Titans offense will go against the Tampa Bay defense. And then they'll mix it up when they work on special teams, because it'll be the Bucks field goal unit against the Titans field goal block and vice versa, and all those sorts of things. So it's really a chance to get to look at your team and how they stack up against a team that you haven't seen, that you're not familiar with. You're not game planning here. You're not, reinventing the wheel or anything. You just want to see who can win in one-on-one situations, who shows you something that tells you that they might need to be around a little longer than just the preseason.
Okay, I've asked a bunch of questions. Any notes you came in with you want to share?
Well, yesterday they made a couple of moves. They brought in a couple of guys off the street, a couple of safeties. They said goodbye to Kenneth George, the former Tennessee Vol, and then they also got rid of Michael Griffin II, who had some kind of injury. Now, he's not related to the Michael Griffin that we remember here from several years ago. George just happens to have the same name and be the second. So how odd is that? But nonetheless, he is off the roster.
Okay, listen, appreciate all the info. Tomorrow is game day, first time this season, so we know football's right around the corner. Terry, thank you as always.
All right, talk to you tomorrow.
That is Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update. The game tomorrow night in Baltimore is at 6 o'clock Nashville time, game one of the 3 in the preseason. Now, let's get to an update that's got some pretty interesting stuff to it. Billy, let's go with item number 1.
Item number 1, George, a lot of stuff in today's update, but we start with baseball. The Atlanta Braves have called up Vaughn Grissom to the majors, with Orlando Arcia put on the IL. They did that earlier today in a series of moves that included, of course, Arcia on the 10-day DL list. So Grissom, is there any relation to the Grissom?
I've looked for those who, like me, are crazy Braves fans. Watson Marquise Grissom caught the third out. In fact, if you were to look over here at this poster, this dog pile was created when Marquise Grissom caught the final out in the 1995 World Series against Cleveland. I can't find anything that says this is his kid. And the truth of it is, I know nothing about Vaughn Grissom. But Watson, they're in a little bit of a pickle. I saw Arcia's injury last night to the hamstring. It was not pretty. And until Ozzie Albies gets back, it's him and Adrianza. And I'm surprised that they're going Grissom over Adrianza, who has been there before.
Well, they may give him a shot and then switch it out pretty quick if he doesn't do well. I think they want to see the guy too. Hamstring, that's a good pull, George, 6-8 weeks.
Oh, I know it.
So Albies might get back before he does. I mean, I'm serious. That's most of my football injuries that are good hamstring pulls. When you pull them good, it's just frustrating. They just do not heal very quickly.
Okay, item number 2. And Georgia, before you get to 2, I actually did a little bit of research. Marquise Grissom Jr. is Marquise Grissom's son, and he's at Georgia Tech right now. So that's his actual.
So that's as close to Truist Park as he's going to get.
Yes,
for now.
For now.
Okay.
But other news, George, college football, tough news for Wake Forest today. Their quarterback, Sam Hartman, is out indefinitely due to a non-football related medical condition, the school announced earlier today. But there is positivity from Dave Clawson, Wake Forest head coach. He said that he does expect Hartman to come back this season. No one knows when. I don't think Hartman even knows when. But that's some tough news to start the season.
Well, yeah, they had a big breakout season last year under Dave Clawson. This kid is really good. Watson, they play Vanderbilt on September the 17th. And if he's not there, then Vandy has a much better shot of winning that game.
Yeah, I mean, they're still good. Wake Forest got a good team. but Hartman is bona fide. He's just a playmaker everywhere. I would bet you this is heart related. So there will be a lot of tests run, and maybe if they don't find anything, he may show back up quicker than you think.
Yeah.
If they were to find something, it could be the year. It could be his career, to be very honest. So I'm guessing that too. I don't know, but I'm just guessing this is a heart issue in some way.
Well, whatever the case, this is not the way anybody would want to see this play out. And we wish this young man nothing but the best. He's a terrific quarterback.
Fifth-year senior too.
Yeah.
So and he's through that COVID time, guys, he's got 2 more years to play.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. He is basically just a junior and does have 2 years left to play. So if they were to lose him, that would be huge. I don't think he's an NFL guy. So he'd probably come back for that 6th year.
Yeah.
The joke is he'll be 40 and then he'll go to BYU.
George.
I know, that was awful.
That was awful.
I don't think the show reaches Provo. What's item number 3?
Item number 3, we go to the NFL. Roger Goodell has come out and said that Deshaun Watson deserves a full year ban instead of the 6-game ban that was proposed. And really mainly because of his, quote, egregious and predatory behavior toward women. So Goodell coming out and saying some strong words.
Yeah, Watson, it's the way he's saying it and the certainty with which he's putting it out there that says almost, I know the info and you don't. And, I think you can take to the bank, Deshaun Watson is not playing this year other than preseason.
It might be 12. There might be a little bit of in between 12 games or 14 games. They might let him play late in the year. Go get Jimmy Garoppolo. After listening to the commissioner, what are you waiting on?
Yeah.
You better go get a quarterback now.
Don't you think they're doing that right now?
How do you not? I don't get it. Go get him. He's the best one out there, and believe me, he's ready to roll.
It's either that or Jacoby Brissett, and if he gets hurt, it's Josh Rosen.
Yeah, I'd put Garoppolo and Jacoby and let them fight it out and see. And I don't think it'll cost them a lot because nobody's jumped on him. So the 49ers are probably ready to get what they can get out of this. I would think they could get him pretty cheap.
Yeah, a song and a dance. Okay, item number 4, I think if I remember correctly, is the Cleveland Browns, where the bad news just gets badder.
Yeah, the bad news Browns continues here. Their receiver, Jakeem Grant, is done for the year. Torn Achilles, and he's going to miss the entire season. They signed him to a 3-year deal in the offseason to be their kick and punt returner. He was also having a standout training camp as a slot receiver as well. And he's a Pro Bowler. So not only will they probably not be with Deshaun Watson that first half of the season, they're not going to be with one of their better receivers the entire year.
Watson, when it rains, it pours.
Oh, boy, Cleveland's something's got to get rid of the dark cloud around the city. I mean, they've had enough. Makes you some of these places like that, George, makes you the Indians, the Browns, makes you they're not Indians anymore. The Guardians, excuse me.
Yes,
and the Browns makes you pull for them a little bit. I mean, but they also do some crazy stuff. I mean, the Baker Mayfield thing, what a disaster. Then to roll in and go get Deshaun Watson, and now he's not going to be there, and the image of it. I mean, they've pulled some crazy stuff, dude.
It comes down to this: unlucky plus dumb, bad stuff.
Not good.
That's 2 strikes, bud. You're looking for the third one coming right at you.
Yeah. So what's item number 5?
Item number 5, very interesting piece here, George, and I did not know this until you told me, but the NFL is planning to play a game on Black Friday next year in 2023.
A year from now. It would presumably become part of the regular NFL schedule after that. And Amazon, Amazon Prime Video will be streaming it. Of course, they've got the Thursday night package. The league cannot televise primetime games on Friday nights in November, so they can't do it this year. But next year. Why is that?
Well, the game will likely be played during the afternoon.
No, I'm saying why can't they?
as the league can't televise primetime games on Friday nights in November as part of its antitrust exemption.
Woo, we're not going to screw with that, Watson, are we?
No, that one's untouchable.
But I'll say this. In lieu of that, old Roger the Dodger is looking for every last TV penny they can get. It's as though he's saying, I've got to get every last penny because I need one more contract at $44 million a year.
Oh, I mean, all the money the NFL has, and believe me, that more than any organization, Major League Baseball, basketball, college football, I don't care, NFL, and yet he's hunting another buck.
Oh, I mean, God.
It's the dadgumdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. They are all about this.
Whew.
Anyway, let me kind of tell you a little bit of what we have coming today. After the break, Zach Womble from Main Street Preps will join us. We'll tell you a little bit of news about how we intend to cover high school football on Friday nights. Zach will be right in the middle of all that. After that, around 4:40, we'll look into the Big Ten's new television package. Boy, has some things scrambled around, in particular at CBS. Then we'll have stat of the day. Do we have to do that?
Big stuff.
Yeah, whatever. And then at 5 o'clock, one of Watson's former players, Vanderbilt color analyst Norman Jordan, will join us. He caught 89 passes in the Hall of Fame game in 1982 against Air Force.
From Whit Taylor.
We will relive every one of those 3-yard passes at 5 o'clock.
That is so bad.
That's cruel. That is cruel.
Hold on a minute. Put Watson back on.
That is so bad.
89 passes, 212 yards.
He caught 20 in the bowl game, and I think till this day it's still a record. And they weren't 3-yard catches. Go check the stats out before you start blowing smoke.
Boy,
way to stick up for your boy.
That sort of
Watson.
touched a nerve, didn't it?
That touched a little nerve. Yes. Don't mess with my child now.
Check out make sure you've got his yardage right. God knows we don't want to cheat him a lick. So make sure you get that, okay?
I got it.
We'll go to the break. Zach Womble will join us, and then we'll let him deal with an angry Watson Brown. This is Main Street Media Television.
Buying or selling a home can be a very personal experience. Why not go with the team that receives nearly all of their business from referrals? Clearly a trusted name in real estate. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners has sold more than 500 homes in the last 7 years. Voted best in Sumner County multiple times. Proven to be trusted with your most personal assets. Call the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners at 615-906-8458. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
I think journalism is like politics. It's all local, and I think Main Street Media has really hit on something that I've been preaching for 50 years. And keep the news local, right? Local stories for local readers, and that's what I like about Main Street Media. I finally found somebody who agrees with me philosophically about concentrate on local subjects, local topics, and you'll bring your readers in.
Listen to this little stat. We're about 8-9 days away from the start of high school football season. That's hard to believe, but it's here. And with that in mind, we bring Zach Womble to our microphones from Main Street Preps. Main Street has just an absolute army of reporters all over the place, and we're going to take advantage of that again this year with our Friday night football coverage. Zach, how in the world are you?
George, I'm doing fantastic today. How are you doing?
Does your ceiling fan work?
It does work. It does work. But I got the house about 70 right now, so I don't need the ceiling fan on just at the moment. Plus, it's a little dreary outside. It just got done raining, so it's cooler temps a little bit. So not too hot here in the old man cave office.
I like the man cave.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let's talk about what we're doing. On Fridays, obviously, our show will air from 4 to 6 p.m. And the minute you all get me out of here for just a tad bit of time, then you and Billy will take over and begin our Friday night high school football coverage. I'll jump back in a few minutes later. And what we intend to give people is 5 hours of the best high school football coverage anywhere. Period.
Absolutely, George. That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps is, we've been doing this for a long time now. And I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area. And we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's, we're going to show that off. We're going to showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So, whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're going to have you covered from 6 to 11. You just mentioned that once you get out of there, Billy and I are going to kind of take over for however long you want to give us, whether it be 30 minutes, whether it be an hour, whether it be 10 minutes, because we're not doing well.
Billy's hoping the longer the better.
That's right. That's right. But, that first hour from 6 to 7, we're really labeling that as our pregame hour. And essentially what that's going to be is you're going to see our reporters through video calls give you kind of a heads up and a look ahead and a preview of lots of local games, plus the games that they're covering. So that 6 to 7 hour really gets you ready to go on the field with us, with our army of reporters, like I said, from several different counties. And so that 7 to 9 o'clock hour, where we've got reporters calling in 2-3 times, giving updates from games. We're going to look into live games through various play-by-play options, whether that be in Metro Nashville with private schools or public schools or anywhere in between. So a lot to look forward to in the high school football season. And I know there are going to be several options for fans out there, but I tell you what, I really feel like we're going to give you the best bang for your buck. So I'd encourage you, I'd implore you to check out our show on Friday nights starting next week when the high school football season officially kicks off. Now, of course, you'll have some few games scattered on that Thursday because the TSSAA has required schools to sign up for at least one Thursday night game during the season. But very much looking forward to next Friday. And I just really cannot believe that it's here already, George.
Yeah, it is hard to believe. By the way, if you'll look at that crawler down there at the bottom that Billy puts together, Billy essentially will have scores as games are going on that crawler.
Yeah, that'll be my job. That'll be the easiest job of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like you said on the scroller, we're going to have several scoreboard updates throughout the evening. So advertisers, if you're listening, if you want to get in on that, be the scoreboard sponsor, I'm sure we're taking calls on that. And Billy's going to be jumping in all throughout the 5 hours to give those, put them on the ticker as well. So we're definitely going to keep you informed and keep you up to date with your favorite high school football team. That's for sure.
Okay, we don't want to discourage anybody from going to your high school football game. That is not what we're trying to do here. But the absolute minute you get out of the stadium, you get back with us around 9:30. Zach, let's talk about that. When the game is over, then what?
Yeah, that's going to be the exciting part with Billy and I as you, once again, dip out of there. So Billy and I can start having a little bit of fun. But it's that post game, right? I mean, it's the post game report with Billy and I, where whether we're catching up with reporters, I would love to tell you and promise you that we're going to have head coaches after the games. I can't promise that, but we've talked to several, and they said if it works out, they would be happy to do it. So from 9:30 to 11, you're going to be hearing the latest of post game reaction. You're going to be getting the Main Street Preps top 25. You're going to be getting a look ahead to next week's big games, and so that hour and a half after the game, it's so important to just talk about what you saw, who impressed, what impressed. Was there a surprise throughout the night? So, there's going to be a lot of reasons for listeners and watchers to tune into the show after they leave the game. And honestly, George, let me add this too. When, these shows are recorded in catalog. So say you're a Gallatin Greenway fan and we cut in to the Gallatin Greenway game for 10 minutes of play-by-play. Well, you've got that to go back to listen to on Saturday. So there's a lot of different options for fans out there. And that's why I think we provide kind of the best bang for your buck. And so I'm very much looking forward to just seeing how that product unveils itself next Friday.
The only thing left to figure out, we got to get a name for this thing.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Friday Night Live is a good show, or a good title, I guess. I think year one we settled on the field with George Plaster.
Yeah,
personally, I really like that title. You can take out the George Plaster part and just leave on the field, because that showcases what we're all about here at Main Street Media, which is local coverage of your local high school football team. And so we're with you there every step of the way. And so I kind of like on the field because it encapsulates all that we do. But with the show having kind of 3 different segments, I don't know if that works all too much. It may. But you're right. We do need to settle in on a name, don't we?
Well, hold on. This is a democracy. Okay. Billy, you get half a vote. What do you think?
I like Friday Night Live. I like that.
Yeah.
That has a nice ring to it.
See, that's where I think we need to go. Why don't we head up to Cookeville for just a second and let the elder statesman, you like that?
Thank you, George.
Yes. What do you
You're
think?
so
What
sweet.
what should we call it?
Friday Night Live sounds perfect to me because it's live for the whole thing. So I think that's perfect name.
Okay.
And a lot of different sections of live.
You get 1.5 votes. Zach, you're saying Friday Night Live?
Yep.
I'm going Friday Night Live.
Boom.
You are looking live.
That's right. That's right. And that's exactly what I expect
Brent
from you.
Musburger.
That's how you need to bring in the show every week, George, is just, call on an old but good one.
Yeah, you got it.
George,
Guys, how do people get to this? What are the different ways they can watch this on Friday nights?
That's a great question.
You're asking me?
Well, I'm just trying to get it out there where people are listening right now. So they'll
smart call.
I think it's going to be pretty neat.
Main Street Preps. Obviously, that's a Twitter site that has almost 6,000, maybe over 6,000 now, Zach. I mean, that's kind of the the top flight high school football site for fans, Main Street Preps. It'll be on Zach's page. I'm sure it'll be on mine, maybe even George's. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be on YouTube, MSM TV. We got to get Main Street Preps a YouTube channel. I'm sure they've got one by now, but it'll be everywhere we do our show, social channels, as well as the MSM TV Roku channel. So you really can't miss it.
Yeah. That's Billy perfectly said. That's exactly what I was about to say. It's actually harder to not watch us than it is to find us on Friday nights because we have so many different avenues of streaming services. So, shout out to Dave and the rest of the crew for just getting all that lined up and just getting us so many different avenues to kind of share our voice and share our platform. And like you said, Billy, there's just, whether it be Main Street Media TV, the phone app, on your Roku, on your Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Facebook, Twitter. There's just so many different options to find us on Friday nights.
Okay, we asked Zach before the show to give us like 3 storylines of important things that are going on. Zach, the first one is the recruitment of this young man, Chris Parson, at Ravenwood. Initially, he was going to Florida State. Now he's not. What's the story?
Yeah, I think Florida State just dropped the ball, honestly. I think they got caught between a rock and a hard place trying to recruit another quarterback. And I think maybe they might have, and listen, I don't know Chris all that well. I haven't heard this firsthand from him, but maybe it's one of those situations where Chris maybe didn't feel valued. And so he just wanted to take a step back and reopen his recruitment process. And in doing that, Mississippi State has actually made a very hard run at him. And if you go on 247sports.com, they've actually got a couple crystal balls for Mississippi State and the Bulldogs to land Chris Parson. Chris is one of the best quarterbacks, not only in the state of Tennessee, but in the country. Recently competed with Pope Prep's Kenny Minchie at the National Elite 11 competition ran by Lipscomb Academy's Trent Dill in Los Angeles and had a really good showing. So this is a high school quarterback that is very much coveted, very talented, and whoever lands his services will be greatly for it. And you just kind of maybe feel bad if you're a Florida State fan because you just let a really good quarterback slip out of your hands. And I guess technically he could still end up at Florida State, but I would say that's a long shot and would consider Mississippi State as kind of the front runner right now. I think he really likes what Starkville and the Bulldogs and Mike Leach and kind of that air raid offense has to offer.
Okay, you brought up Trent Dill earlier. He is one of our storylines. A state title a year ago at Lipscomb Academy. Not that they were a bad football program before he got there, but man, has he elevated it.
I tell you what, George, he has breathed a new sense of life into that program. And, he's a former NFL quarterback. And like I said, he runs the Elite 11. He's been on ESPN. So when you're at a private school like Lipscomb Academy and you can kind of talk to players and potentially get their services to come to your school, there's a lot to sell. And listen, Lipscomb Academy has nice facilities, has a nice program, has good things going for it. It's in Nashville. So there are a lot of selling points for that football team. And listen, Hank Brown coming in at quarterback, he is committed to Liberty. He's actually ranked as the 29th rated quarterback in Tennessee at this moment. But, I'm just very much excited to see if that powerhouse will continue because, last year, outside of the Oakland game, which many would say they could have won that football game, they dominated everybody, including CPA in the state championship game. So they welcome back a wealth of playmakers on both sides of the football. So honestly, George, it's hard not to see this powerhouse continuing. And you'll see it later on when we release our Main Street Preps Top 25. But we've got the Mustangs ranked pretty high this season going into week 1.
Here is a storyline that I like, and I don't pretend to know how it may have shifted a little bit, but you're saying an uptick in Metro Nashville football. And Zach, that needs to happen because they simply have gotten dwarfed by the private schools. They don't get nearly the attention they used to.
Yeah. You know what? I'm labeling this as Metro Nashville football is no longer behind the 8 ball, George. When 2020 happened and COVID happened, it just depleted the entire Metro Nashville public school system because it allowed those public school kids to go to wherever they wanted to, essentially with no repercussions from it. Last year or 2020, they had a tough season, right? They only got to play maybe a few games. And then 2021, they bounced back in a big way with teams like East Nashville making a run at the state championship. And here they are going into 2022, And there are several good Metro Nashville schools, whether it be, like I said, East Nashville, Pearl Cone, Cane Ridge, John Overton. I mean, the list goes on with Metro Nashville football. So if you're a fan of Nashville high school football, you've got a lot of teams to kind of follow this year. And I really would expect and kind of anticipate maybe a Metro Nashville school like John Overton or a Cane Ridge or Pearl Cone to get over that hump and really make a run at that state championship football game.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We haven't played a game yet in the regular season, but in your mind, who today, take out classifications, forget about them, who are the top 3 teams in the state of Tennessee?
Not to I guess ruin our top 25, but I'll just give you the top 3. But I'm going Oakland number 1, and it's hard to argue against the Patriots, right? I mean, what Kevin Creasy has done in Murfreesboro is simply remarkable. I mean, it's outstanding. Coming from Trousdale County and taking that winning program all the way to Murfreesboro is nothing to bat an eye about. And the second team I would say is Lipscomb Academy. For all the reasons that I've listed earlier, Hank Brown coming in at quarterback and taking over a Liberty commit. He's got playmakers all over the field. Trent Dill is just a really good head coach, and they've got the ball rolling over there at Lipscomb Academy. And the third team, in my opinion, I don't know if the top 25 will reflect this, but in my opinion, the third best team in the Middle Tennessee area is Lebanon High School. They returned 16 starters on both sides of the football this year, including their quarterback, who continues to set new records each and every week at the high school football season. They've got, I think, 4 offensive linemen returning, just as many on the defensive side of defensive line in the trenches. And as Watson knows, you win football games in the trenches with the big boys, with the guys up front, and they are well-suited and well-versed in that area. So I say Lebanon is the third best team. So I've got Oakland, Lipscomb Academy, and the Lebanon Blue Devils as my top 3 teams in Middle Tennessee.
Okay, I've got Friday Night Live by way of a unanimous vote. Watson putting it over the top because he has a vote and a half. We gave Billy a half vote. Welcome to the show.
That's going to change when you leave at 9 o'clock.
Really?
Maybe I'll get half a vote with Zach in here later.
So.
Oh no, hey, Billy, I won't treat you like that. I promise.
I appreciate that, Zach.
Just put him over here in the corner.
I will.
Zach, thank you.
All right, George. See ya.
Zach Womble from Main Street Media Preps. Watson, real quickly, you keep up very closely with high school football in this state. Any thoughts you've got about certain teams, certain programs that you've seen?
Well, one I want to give a shout out to, George, would be our good friend Jody Jones' son, Ashton. That DCA is just going to be a junior, and he is one heck of a tailback. And they rely on him a bunch, and I really believe they're going to do it again. They'll repeat as state champions. And my gracious, he was dominant as a sophomore, and he's just going into his junior year. He's been already got a lot of people eyeballing him, and all of the offers will start coming in now this year. But I'll throw them right out there early. I think they're going to do it again.
So the minute we get off the air with our show on Friday nights at 6 o'clock, then Friday Night Live will take over from 6 to 11 p.m. I'll be involved in it. If we can keep Billy awake, because he will have had a long day, he'll be a part of it. Of course, Zach Womble and all of this army of reporters. This is something we are going to do well. And we believe we're going to have the best high school football coverage anywhere, period. So you be here. Right, Billy?
You're right, George. I'll try not to be a zombie late Friday night.
By 10:45, you might need one of those Red Bulls.
Yeah, I'll need a few of those.
Okay, after the break, we'll get into some college football TV news. There is some serious shuffling going on starting at CBS. This is Main Street Media Television.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit WellSkinMD.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin. It's your last chance to get a spring tune-up for summer. Complete Service Heat and Air can clean your coils, check out your motor, and make sure you have cold air on that first hot day of summer. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. That's 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Duret Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties, plus mitigation services. Visit DuretRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DuretRadonMitigation.com. Since 1865, the First Baptist Church of Gallatin on Winchester Street has served its community by catering to the least, the last, and the lost, providing a church of welcome used by God to save the lost, transform the saved, and impact its community. As a proud multi-ethnic congregation, Pastor Derek Jackson personally welcomes you to join them in fellowship Sunday mornings at 8 in person or at 10:45 in person or online at firstbaptistgallatin.org. First Baptist Gallatin on Winchester Street, serving with open arms as a true church of welcome.
Welcome back. These are crazy times in college football. Before this show ever got underway in early July, Southern Cal and UCLA had already told the Pac-12, we're done. We're out of here. Off to the Big Ten they went, and then the Big Ten said, you know what? It's time to cash in. And in the last couple of days, some stuff has gotten out on exactly how the Big Ten intends to do this with their new TV package. Watson, it is just absolutely one flew over the cuckoo's nest, but the Big Ten appears to have cashed in huge off what they've done.
Give them credit. Commissioner Warren's caught a lot of grief, but I'm going to tell you now, he's behind the scenes, he's put it together. And it got the SEC's attention. I can promise you that. It's headed toward two powerhouses, isn't it? It's headed toward two powerhouses. I don't know, and I'd hate to say this with my brother, but I don't know how the ACC survives. I just don't think they could possibly come up with any package close to this. And if they combined, I don't think they would the Big 12. I think it'd be the Pac-12 combination. I still don't think it would get them up in the league of these two conferences. So I think it's headed toward the two powers, and it's just going to do nothing but grow, and they'll keep expanding the number of teams in each conference, and they're going to keep expanding the playoffs because they can't have a conference champion, the only one going to a playoff.
Well, to go a little farther with your Pac-12 thing, one of the disadvantages they have is that a lot of their games are played about the time people your age and mine are headed to sleep. So you don't get a lot of Oregon State and Oregon and Arizona and Arizona State just simply because of time.
Yeah, and I don't know the windows. I'm sure CBS window's still 2:30, correct? That'll be the big one of them.
Get ready. We're about to show it.
Okay. And to me, that's perfect. They can play at 12:30 or something if they have to in Los Angeles, or they could catch that night window. I don't know. I think they added the two for the market. I think they wanted that Los Angeles market in this package for CBS. Now looking at it, George, I think that's the reason they're there.
Okay, Billy, let's run this thing up the flagpole and think about over the last 15 years. At 2:30, it was like clockwork. You went to CBS, you had the great music, and you had the SEC game of the week. Well, now you're going to have the Big Ten game of the week. And Watson, a year from now, man, that is going to seem strange.
Oh, it's going to be real strange to all of us old traditionalists, George, not seeing the SEC in that window on CBS. But now, button heads, man. There'll be an SEC game on the same time that CBS game is on, and they're button heads. And it's going to do nothing but get stronger and stronger and stronger as time goes on.
$350 million apparently ponied up by CBS. So they get rid of the SEC 2:30 and they go Big Ten. Now look at NBC. It appears that what NBC is going to do is go with something in that 6 to 6:30 window on Saturday night. Notre Dame is the one that's really crowing about this because they apparently, Watson, have been on NBC's butt saying, add some TV, add some college football. We need a lead in, or we need to lead them in. I find that very interesting.
Well, it tells you Notre Dame is still a player, George. I mean, that brand is still strong, and I think NBC is doing everything they can to keep Notre Dame. Let's see how far they'll go with the money, and if they don't go far enough, then Notre Dame's going to be in the Big Ten. That's where they'll be. And I don't know. I'm anxious to watch NBC. And where does NBC go? Who are they trying to tie in with?
Well, they've gone. NBC has gone. Let's put that graphic back up there. They've gone Big Ten according to what's getting out by way of Sports Business Journal.
But what I meant by tying in, are they going to tell Notre Dame we want a bunch of you playing Big Ten schools now? That's where I'm coming from. What's NBC going to ask for if Notre Dame's asking for more games? What's NBC come back with? Okay, but we're not going to put on just little things here. You jump in and start playing more Big Ten, and now that's easy for us to transition to this.
Right. It's a good point. NBC's deal with Notre Dame runs until 2025. They are paying right at $25 million a year to the school. And Watson, people who know say that this is really an undervalued deal right now. And Notre Dame's getting ready to do some of this, whether it's NBC or somebody else.
25 million is not even going to touch it. And Notre Dame's sitting pretty, George. I promise you they're sitting in those rooms saying, you don't do this, we're going to go straight to the Big Ten, and here's what we're going to make. So Notre Dame is still a power player in this. And nobody's making moves till Notre Dame comes up with a contract one way or the other. And now that NBC is tied in with the Big Ten, I think they'll come up with a package for Notre Dame, and Notre Dame won't go to the Big Ten.
Billy, look at that Fox deal, because it appears that there are two different options. Nobody's been able to figure out yet what kind of money Fox is throwing in. I don't know if you saw this, but Fox has sat in on the negotiations for the Big Ten with both CBS and NBC. I would have told Fox, get the hell out of the room.
The thing about Fox is, I mean, that they're the Big Ten. I mean, you know, for the last year, in the years before, I mean, Big Ten on Fox, Gus Johnson night game. That's
in Gus we trust.
Yeah, there's some ownership, I think, from Fox saying, what do y'all do? The Big Ten is ours. I feel like there's a little bit of that there.
Well, and Watson, the Big Ten has almost acted like that Fox is serving as sort of an agent for this whole thing, which I think is really weird.
You nailed it. The weirdest thing I've seen as I followed this is, what in the world is Fox doing? And is the Big Ten still kind of in bed with them? I mean, I don't know. I can't figure Fox out. Where are they headed? What are they doing? Are they going to be still part of a Big Ten package too? I mean, if you get CBS, NBC, and Fox doing Big Ten games, SEC better have a bunch of them on the ESPN network.
SEC network.
Well, ESPN. Well,
the big games, Billy, are on ESPN. They're not on the SEC network. Those are the second tier games.
Right. ESPN, the Ocho, ESPN. ESPN.
I'm telling you, they better be putting a bunch of them on to keep up with the Big Ten now.
The Derek Jeter network. I mean, it is crazy. And it does lead you to wonder, Watson, what's left for the little guys? It appears nothing.
Well, that's why if I'm the group of fives, I'm begging for a playoff. I'm begging for a group of five playoff. I'd forget that every once in a while somebody goes undefeated and gets in the big dance. But I'd go for a playoff, get a package with that. It'll be much less money, but it'll be more money than they're going to get. I would beg for that. Even if you had to take out your top dog and let him go to the big dance, still have one. I don't see how the group of fives make it, George, without some form of a playoff, and maybe they get maybe 25 million or 15 million.
Yeah.
That's the only way they can make money. That's it. There's nothing else left out there for them to make money.
Can you say CBS Sports Network?
Yeah. I mean, something like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's kind of the tier that it's going to fall to.
That's exactly right. And I think something like that would jump at it. Because would you watch it? I would.
Oh, absolutely.
If Memphis is playing Southern Miss, and for the national championship of the group of five, I'm sure watch that game.
Sure.
So I think that's their only chance. And if they don't do that, they may be thrown back down with the FCSs. If they go up, if they have their own playoff, I think you're going to see North Dakota State and some of those guys move up. When you do a playoff for them, I think you see the better FCSs move up and the trickle up deal instead of the trickle down.
Interesting. All of you pay attention over the next few days, because I think some more info is going to come out on exactly where all of this shifting is going. It looks pretty darn good for the Big Ten. When we come back, it's stat of the day. Watson and I have held our own this week. We will continue to excel. Sure we will. When we come back on Main Street Media Television. Tell me a little bit about your company.
So One Stop Realty has been around since 1974. We are your hometown brokerage. It is family owned by me. We have 30 agents that are waiting to help you with all your real estate needs. That counts as residential, commercial, and property management. We also will be getting into the auction business at the end of this month as well. We have listings that range from every price range that you can think of on the real estate market. I know Shelly Tucker has a new listing coming up in Gallatin. Heather Patton has one in Madison right around the corner here. I have one coming up myself. We have everything you need as far as real estate, and we have the expertise to help you out.
Beautiful. Give them a phone number.
Phone numbers for the office is 615-822-0750. You can find us on the web at www.onestoprealty.tn.com.
Thanks for getting involved with us.
George,
really appreciate this. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I think so.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
I've done sports, I've been a photographer, I've been an editor, I've been a producer, I've been a reporter, I've been an anchor. I mean, I've done every job you could possibly imagine this. And so sports was a way to have fun and be different. But then I realized community is where it's at, and community and local and doing places and going, seeing people. And, sports, you go to a stadium, everybody celebrates and they go their different ways. But community-wise, there's so much going on.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee.
We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports cards, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards.
We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
Stat of the daytime is it's here. And if I do say so, yesterday, I absolutely aced it. The question involved the two people who have been on the cover of Sports Illustrated the most. Michael Jordan, I believe, with 50, Muhammad Ali with 40. Amazing. Yeah. Watson, we showed him who Daddy was.
Yeah. We forgot ourselves who Daddy was. It's been so long.
So let's see if we can make it two in a row. Billy, what's the question?
George, I think y'all are going to like this one, but what the hell do I know? Stat of the day is presented by John English Vintage Sports and Cards. They specialize in antique and historical sports equipment, games, advertising, and other sport-related items. You can visit them in Shelbyville. Open Tuesdays through Fridays from noon to 5 o'clock and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. You can visit them at johnenglishgradedcards.com. Today's stat of the day, pretty long question, but who is the only person in NBA history to be named most valuable player, coach of the year, and executive of the year? All three of those.
Oh.
Dates me.
Okay, Watson, let's you and I think out loud, and then we'll see if Billy can get his little buzzer going over there. How's that working over there?
I've got the wrong buzzer ready. I haven't been able to figure out the right answer, though. So
okay. So, Watson, here's
Larry Bird would be close, wouldn't he?
You know what?
Yes.
Larry Bird would be right.
Whoa. Oh, let me throw out a couple more that were on my mind. Watson, way to ace it, baby.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe
listen, you can't screw with us. There were two others that I was on. Bill Russell, Lenny Wilkins. Lenny Wilkins was a player coach at one point. I don't know that he was ever an MVP. Apparently not an executive of the year, but that is well done.
Watson ate his Wheaties this morning. He was ready to go.
So, Watson, you want a great story?
Yeah.
Kevin Pritchard, who is now the general manager of the Indiana Pacers, back in the early 90s, he came here to Nashville to live, and we used to play ball at the Green Hills Y. When both Larry Bird and Pritchard were with the Boston Celtics, Pritchard offered to play Pritchard a game of horse for paychecks. So Kevin was making like the league minimum. Clearly, Larry Bird was not. And Pritchard said, listen, thanks, but no thanks. I may be a decent shooter, but I'm not playing for a paycheck. I can't afford to. And so at that point, Larry Bird opened his locker, and Pritchard reports that about 6 or 8 paychecks totaling about $4.5 to $5 million were just lying in his locker.
Oh, that's kind of like when I was reading this morning where Tiger Woods never knew what he made in winning a tournament.
Good Lord.
Can you imagine that? He never asked. He didn't know what he made. He just left. He's got so much money, he didn't even care. Just put it in the bank. I mean, I read that and I just started laughing out loud. I said, wow.
They're living in a different world than we are.
Just slightly. Yeah. Just slightly.
So in a moment, we're going to be joined by Vanderbilt football color analyst Norman Jordan. Watson, when he first got to Vandy, he was simply a running back. How did you decide that you were going to turn him into this receiver coming out of the backfield stuff?
I just saw his quickness. He was smart as a tack. He had great hands. And I had a quarterback that could throw that. That's what Witt had such a quick release and also very smart. And what we were doing, it's reaction things, but they've got to react the same way in a lot that they did. And then it went all the way into Alabama Matthews on top of that, because when they started overplaying Norman early in the year, then Alabama started catching a ton. So between those three, it was just unbelievable. I don't think he'll ever be matched in Vanderbilt history again.
Norman Jordan joins us by phone. Norman, your former coach got all ticked off earlier because I said you caught 89 balls in the bowl game for 217 yards. I really struck a nerve on him.
Why is that?
I don't know. By the way, I need you to talk a little bit louder, Norman, because we're having a hard time hearing you there. But it struck a nerve. He didn't like that at all.
Well, that'd be about 2.5 yards per catch, and I was upwards of 3 yards per catch.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about what you have seen so far as you've gone out to practice for year 2 of Clark Lee.
You know, it's interesting. The freshmen look like they're going to be a really good group of athletes. About half of them came in spring ball and really looked good. Liked what I saw with those guys. And then the guys that didn't come in early, they look really good as well. So, you know, the future looks good there. I think one of the interesting things watching them last year, you know, they only won 2 games, but it was amazing how many players they played. A lot of times the coach comes in and he's going to, all things being equal, they're going to play the younger guy. Well, they played the older and the younger, and they kept a real mix. So if you look at the lineup this year, you've got a lot of guys that got a lot of playing time last year, and I think that'll pay dividends starting this year.
I want to try again, if I can, to get you to talk a little bit louder. We are having a hard time hearing you. I don't think it's on your end. It may well be on our phone end. So let's try this one. Clark had what some experts in the recruiting world are labeling a top 35 class. For the life of me, I have no idea how he did that, although I needed it. He needed it huge. How many of those kids are going to play early?
I think as the year goes on, and you'll see more and more, I'd be surprised if they don't try to get through, frankly, Alabama and Georgia. I wouldn't want to put a freshman out there against those two juggernauts, and then Ole Miss is right in between them. So I wouldn't be surprised to see, more people, more of the young guys come out and start later on in the year. They'll have some reps under their belts. They'll know what they're doing. You come in as a freshman, particularly at running back, you don't know how to do the pass blocking schemes. And if you can't do the pass blocking schemes, you can't play. They just got to put you in for one run and then pull you out. So I think you'll see more and more of these guys as the year goes on.
Okay, I want you to try it again a little bit louder. For whatever reason, we're having some trouble with levels. Norman, they've made the decision to go Mike Wright, and I get that. He's a very good athlete. I think there's a big liability to this when it comes to throwing downs. I didn't think he was a very good thrower a year ago. Has he improved that part of his game at all?
I think he's improved it some, but you don't see that quick reaction that, oh, I see what they're doing to me right now, so I need to go over to my right and hit the tight end. He'll be open right here. Watson was a genius at that, in that Watson would have the checkoffs. If A's covered, then go to Y, and if Y's covered, then you go to Z. And I don't see that processing like that, but I think what Coach Lee's thinking is this guy's going to be harder to defend against. If you go back and watch the clips against South Carolina, you've got a guy out there that South Carolina was having a hard time with, and it's going to be more like running an option where you got a guy that you got to defend the 11th player. You can't just forget about the quarterback.
Watson, if you will, take that a little bit farther, because you've developed quarterbacks who came in not able to do anything more than stare down the first one. How do they start to get comfortable going to the second and the third, part of a route tree?
Reps, 100% reps. You got to have mental reps, then you got to have physical reps. And to get enough reps in, to me, George and Norman, you got to cut down what you're doing. You can't have 15 drop back passes. You probably carry 4 or 5 at the most, is what I think. And then you just rep them over and over and over. You might change formations with them or whatever, but it's the same pass. And that's when I think you'll get better. Second thing to me is fundamentals with him. He has a bad habit of laying his elbow open and his hands under the ball. I don't know if you can see me, but when you put your elbow into your chest, your hand naturally goes under the ball, and now you have no control. Your elbow has to come up, and now your hand's on top of the ball. I think he really struggles with that, and if he ever got better at doing that, I think his accuracy would improve immensely.
Norman, take it from there.
Yeah, it's like Watson said, though. It's reps. It's got to be natural. It's got to be, you don't think about it when you're doing it. It's just got to be part of, like the ball's attached to your arm, just like you were born with the ball there. I was talking with my old friend Keith Edwards the other day. We were kind of going down memory lane, and he said, "Do you remember what you told me about running the little route that we used to always run?" And I said, "Not really." And he said, "You told me," he said, you should know by your first step where you're going. And that's exactly what Watson was saying, is you got to rep it. You got to do it so many times that as soon as you see what the linebacker's doing, what the corner's doing, you know that instant exactly how this play is going to unfold. And it's got to be like that for the quarterback. I know it was for Witt. I mean, he would see a free safety go over the top, and he would instantly go back to the right.
Watson, take it from there.
Yeah, and I'm anxious to see. What I think Mike is good at right now, Norman, is if it's play action pass or an RPO, that's really one of maybe two guys in an RPO. It's one guy. And you put the ball in the belly and you raise up and throw. That's what I see him being the best at. And they've got to get him better at drop back. And then the other piece of that to me is how much better, Norman, is this offensive line? Because last year it was hard for any of these other quarterbacks to play with that offensive line.
Yes.
Mike Wright could move around and save himself some. Are they any better in practice? Can you tell a difference any?
No, I didn't get to see enough Saturday at the scrimmage to really tell. And you just hit the nail on the head. If you don't have time to throw, if you're taking 3 steps and then getting hit by a linebacker or getting hit by a defensive end, it doesn't matter how good you can throw because it's just not going to matter. So I think that is the big thing. And I'm not sure they're looking for your 5 best linemen. I've always said I think you're looking for the 5 guys that play the best together when you're looking for an offensive line. Sometimes you can have a weaker guy in there and everybody else knows, well, I've got to take up for him by doing this or whatever. But it's having guys that really work as a unit. And to me, that's what an offensive line is. It's very much a unit, not 5 guys just out there blocking.
Well, and George, we talked about that the other day on the show about the place that's got to be more coordinated than anybody in football is the offensive line. And I think Norman is right, is center and both guards. Now the tackles, they're on their own a little more out there and they don't get a lot of help in some ways. So they've got to be better athletes, but the guards and centers, if they're coordinated together, they pass different things off so well and end up double teaming a guy to help with one of the 2 guys or whatever. And so I'm just anxious to see where this offense is this year over last. I personally think if they're going to win 4 games, which I think would be a good year, that's just a guess on my part. I hadn't seen them yet. But if they're going to win 4 games, they got to be a lot better on offense than they were. They were very inconsistent and just couldn't score points. They've got to score more points. Their defense is not going to hold these SEC teams to 17 points. They've got to score points.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. And if you can't put some points on the board, you put so much pressure on your defense if they're going out there. I remember one year, probably 4 or 5 years ago, the defense looked like they were going out trying to score because they knew their offense couldn't score. Yeah. And if you get that pressure going on your defense, and you've got a major problem going on. I'm encouraged that they're, supposedly going to use the tight end quite a bit more this year. And, you look out on the field and you see tight ends standing out there in the green with nobody around them. So I think going to the tight end and making an easier throw will make this a better offense.
And a quicker throw. Absolutely. A quicker throw with it. And I think that'll fit into the running game and those play action passes and running crossing routes with the tight end. They've got to get more people involved. I don't see, Norman, what I call just a go-to guy. So in my opinion, this offense has got to be built around 5 receivers, and it goes to just different people all the time and just be loose and open and get to where they're confident in Mike. And I hope and pray that we see him play better as a quarterback this year. I think he's capable of doing that. I told Norman George the other day, I'm not sure he isn't the one I'd go with right now just because of athleticism and let this offensive line just keep getting better. But if they're going to go with him, he's got to play better.
So, Norman, it appears they've got an opportunity. They're favored over Hawaii. They should beat Elon. They've gotten some news about Sam Hartman in Wake Forest that even though you hate that for the young man, would help Vandy tremendously. And then Northern Illinois there, which is ridiculous that they're playing up there. But they've got a shot to be something like 3-1 or 4-0 at the end of that first month. If they did get one of those 2 numbers, how much would that help their confidence?
I think it'll help a lot. But then, as I was talking earlier, you got Alabama and Georgia looming on the schedule, and when you play guys like that, both of those teams could easily split up and play for the SEC championships. I mean, they're just tremendous depths, tremendous teams, and you'd love to think we're going to go out there and beat them, but you're going out there and trying to compete. But they're great football teams, so that's going to be hard. But if you can go in with some confidence and feel like, hey, I remember it in 1981 when Watson first got there. We got about 2 or 3 games in the season, and we were looking around the locker room at each other going, we're not bad. And we were used to being bad. We were real bad.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're going, hey, we can score.
Norman, help me a little bit on the itinerary of Hawaii, because I'm told it's almost a week-long trip that they go out there. I would have been willing to hold Clark Lee's cord to get a free trip to Hawaii. But I'm also told it's not in the old Honolulu Stadium where the Pro Bowl is, that thing's been torn down. It's right across the street from Pearl Harbor, by the way. And now they're playing on essentially a soccer stadium on the Hawaii campus, seats about 8,000.
Yeah, it seats about 8,000. The Hula Bowl has been torn down, is what my understanding is. I know Andrew Allegretta texted me when the baseball team was out there, the play-by-play guy, and Andrew said, wow, it really looks ragged, and they're getting ready to tear it down. So I'm sure they're going to build something nice, but that won't help much this year. It's my understanding that, even the Vanderbilt fans going out there, it's a tough ticket to get.
It's a tough ticket to get on sheer numbers, and I'm told Hawaii hadn't released a lot of those tickets. Norman, what do you know about Hawaii? Because I guess I was surprised when Vandy came up about a touchdown favorite.
Not really that surprised. I think they had a real up and down year last year. They'd show signs of being able to do some things. But I think if you look at it and just say, all right, talent to talent, I think you've got to give Vanderbilt the edge right there. Particularly, I think Clark's smart to go out there pretty much a week early, get fully acclimated to it, and understand what you're dealing with. And that's one of the tough things, particularly if you've got a younger team and you go on the road to a stadium for the first time. I think that's worth a touchdown to the other team, because you get to a new stadium and you're just kind of looking around and trying to get the feel for the field and all things like that. And it's awkward. It's a lot easier to go into a stadium the second time when you're a senior, certainly, than when you're a sophomore or freshman.
Excellent point. Norman, can't thank you enough for taking the time to come on with us. So what were the numbers? 20 catches, 21 in the bowl game?
20 official, 21. We got one touchdown called back for holding, and I'm not going to say who it was, but no, it's 20 catches, 3 touchdowns, and I don't know, 170, 180 yards. I don't remember. It's a long time ago.
It is a long time ago. Thanks for the visit.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Boy, he used that term loosely, Watson.
Yeah, he did. Maybe he was just talking to me.
That's what you'd like to think. So you've taken a team to Hawaii in a bowl game.
Yeah.
How long does it take to really get acclimated to what's going on out there?
That was why it was such a good bowl. We got to stay a week. Normally bowls are 3 days, but we're out there a week, and it's a packed house because we're playing Hawaii and Jimmy Chang, and they're undefeated. And I think they'd lost one. I think they were 11-1, and they were a really good team. But yeah, it really helped us, George. Absolutely, I think Clark's doing the right thing. The weather is just different. The humidity. There's a lot our kids had to get used to. We really went out there and reconditioned them out there for about 4 of those 7 days and ran them really hard to get them used to breathing and doing that stuff. And it really helped us in that game.
Yeah. So that game is week 0, Saturday, August the 27th. It's a 9:30 Nashville time start, and it will be on the CBS Sports Network. We'll go to the break. When we come back, why is Major League Baseball so screwed up? Well, I'll explain another piece of the puzzle when we come back. This is Main Street Media Television.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
It's your last chance to get a spring tune-up for summer. Complete Service Heat and Air can clean your coils, check out your motor, and make sure you have cold air on that first hot day of summer. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. That's 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Okay, we are back. First of all, we'll open up the phone lines around 5:35. I'll put up the number here in just a minute because I want some of you to get involved and join us for all the frivolity. There are a couple, three kind of disturbing stories that have come out today, which lead me to continue to say to myself, Major League Baseball is so dumb. The first one involves tomorrow night's Hall of Fame game. And by the way, our buddy, Danny Evans, who knows more about what's going on in baseball than any human being, will join us Friday. He is one of the masterminds behind that Field of Dreams game. Doesn't look like they're going to play there a year from now because of construction going on around there. Watson, I don't care what construction they've got going on. I'm playing a game there come hell or high water.
I agree with you 100%. Last year was a thrill to watch that, George. It just brings back the richness of tradition of Major League Baseball. I truly enjoyed that game last year.
The second story involves advocates for minor league baseball. Remember, we had Harry Marino on recently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
His group today, because there are several people in Congress who are really snooping into Major League Baseball right now and asking the question, why do they deserve antitrust exemptions? Well, today, Harry Marino's group came out and just basically called Rob Manfred a liar and said that in the information he gave Congress that he grossly exaggerated numbers, and it's just not a good look at all.
No, not at all. Why would you? I don't know. We both have the same feelings about Major League Baseball, George. The last couple of years, man, it has just been one disaster after another. I throw it back at the top. I think they've got to get a baseball man running the show, and it's not going to get better till they do, in my opinion. I don't want a bean counter. I don't want a marketer. I want a baseball man in there. And it's the same thing I want for college football. It's time to have a commissioner that's a football guy that knows what all goes on and what these kids need and how to improve the game. And that's one of my horses here lately. I don't understand how we hire the people we're hiring in athletics right now.
Well, we know what Rob Manfred is. He's a labor negotiator. There is the belief out there that he does not have a particular love for the game. The players absolutely despise him. That came out in the negotiations in March that almost blew up in everybody's face. So one of the things Rob Manfred did, and I'm absolutely livid about this, a year and a half ago, he contracted 40 minor league teams. One of those was in Jackson, Tennessee, owned by a couple of friends of both mine and Watson. And Watson, for the life of me, number one, I'll never understand how that particular move helps the game of baseball, because in a lot of those cities, that franchise was a source of pride, a source of resources. To me, that is stupid.
And it's not that much money, George. I mean, come on. Yes, I agree with you 100%. What has baseball got over all the other, over football and over basketball? Goes way back in tradition, George. And you taking out these minor league systems in these small towns that they got so much pride in, that is just so stupid. I mean, I listen to you all the time just with the sounds alone. And the sounds are still around, but this is just an example. This kid played here at the Sounds. I watched him play here, right here in Nashville. This kid played right here in Nashville. I remember the night he hit 3 home runs here in Nashville. I mean, that's in all these small towns when that promotes Major League Baseball. How in the world do you think That helps your sport by doing away with that.
Okay, I want to go. You're absolutely right. I want to go to one more story that has gotten out today. Back, I want to say late in 2021, early in 2022, there were 10 minor league baseball teams that basically sold out for fairly good money to what I would call kind of a corporate conglomerate. And that did not go over well inside baseball. And the Players Association has been up this company's you know what to sell and get out of baseball. Well, today it happened. And 10 teams, and let's go ahead and put up the list of them because it's an interesting group. Iowa Cubs, AAA affiliate of the Chicago Cubs. Same story, Memphis Redbirds. They, of course, have had a long-standing AAA relationship with the Cardinals. Scranton Wilkes-Barre is the Yankees. Look over on the right-hand side, Gwinnett, Mississippi, Rome, Augusta. They are all farm teams of the Atlanta Braves, who, by the way, are your defending world champions, even though the Mets maybe have not gotten the memo. And the Oklahoma City Dodgers, who have been a long-time AAA affiliate of the big club. So, Watson, these 10 teams had been bought by one of these conglomerates, and I wish I could remember the name of it, and I apologize for not being able to bring that to the table. But essentially, that is what has gone on. They have been forced to sell, and minor league baseball today is in a total upheaval. And by the way, the Gwinnett team is in Nashville tonight, weather permitting, to take on the Sounds. They just don't know who their owner is.
Well, George, all the things we just talked about leads right to this. How can you blame them? How can you blame them for selling? I can't. They get no backing. They get no help. They're on their own. I'm sorry. I can't just get on them for doing this. You got to make a living. You got to do whatever you can. But my gosh, George, Memphis Redbirds, they've been there forever. Forever. And I'm not saying they won't still be there, but do you disagree with me? Are you on them hard for selling, or do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I'm absolutely. First of all, I'm thrilled they've sold. They need to get the conglomerate stuff out of baseball,
Okay.
Liberty Media.
Well, you're with me on that.
But, oh, absolutely. And Watson, in the Memphis Redbirds case, you and I both know the building of that stadium in downtown Memphis re-energized a downtown that desperately needed it.
Absolutely it did. Absolutely it did. And it's one of the places when you go to Memphis you want to see. It's just one of those stadiums, George, that's it's right in the city, and you want to at least drive by it when you go, and you'd love to go see a game there. I mean, I agree with you 100%.
Anyway, baseball's messed up right now. Need a commissioner change desperately. By the way, after what I saw this weekend, they don't need Pete Rose back in the game. What an atrocious weekend.
What did he do?
Oh, my God. What didn't he do?
Are you talking about what he said?
Read the story. You won't believe it when you see it. I'm just going to ask you to read it. It is so pathetic. He looked like such a bonehead this weekend. It's just not even funny.
I heard that, but I haven't read the story, so I'll do that.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the break, and then, Billy, if you will, put the phone number up there. We're going to take about 20 minutes worth of your phone calls. And so I want 4 or 5 red-blooded Americans to jump in now. 615-588-2998. Again, 615-588-2998. I've said it before, and I'm going to continue to pound away on it. When we get phone calls and interaction with you all, it's a better show. It's been that way in radio for 30 years for me, and I want to take this same deal into this television show as well. I want you all to feel welcome on the phones. and I want you to interact and bring some of your best stuff. So we'll go to the break. There is the phone number. You're watching Main Street Media Television.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Duret Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties, plus mitigation services. Visit DuretRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DuretRadonMitigation.com.
I think journalism is like politics. It's all local, and I think Main Street Media has really hit on something that I've been preaching for 50 years. And keep the news local, right? Local stories for local readers, and that's what I like about Main Street Media. I finally found somebody who agrees with me philosophically about concentrate on local subjects, local topics, and you'll bring your readers in.
We'll get to your phone calls here in just a moment, but first let's say hello to Brian Stewart and the folks at One Stop Realty. Brian, how are you?
George, I'm doing great. How are you today?
Doing good. Tell me what's happening in your world.
Well, it is, I think, I don't know about on your side of town, but I know over here it has rained all day long. It is,
no, it has.
It has been a deluge over here. One thing I wanted to talk about real quick, George, was I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but have you heard of the iBuyers, like Open Door, places like that?
No, tell me about it.
So Open Door and a few other companies as well, they are the companies that come in and tell you that they're going to save you money and they're going to make you more money possibly by buying the house from you and not using a realtor. And a matter of fact, and why I'm bringing this up is they got hit with a $62 million lawsuit the other day for basically making false claims because people did their homework and did the research, and they saw, hey, we're not making more money. It's a false claim by these companies out here. And I firmly believe, and always have believed since I've been in this business since 13, that whenever you work with a realtor, getting it out in front of 16,000 plus realtors here in Middle Tennessee is greatly going to increase the chances of bringing more money to you whenever you're selling a home. I know whenever I have trouble with my car or any other thing, I always go to the professional. I don't go to the grocery store to find a mechanic. I go to the mechanic's garage to use them. So in essence, what I'm saying is whenever you're looking to sell your home or you're looking to buy a home, why not use somebody that is vested in this business and does it every day, knows it inside and out, keeps trends on the market going. I mean, this is what we do for a living. So I encourage you, whenever you are looking for somebody to work with in real estate, call us at One Stop Realty. This is what we do. This is how we provide for our family. And we're here to work and help you get the best deal possible on any purchase that you're making or any sale that you're making.
Okay. How do they reach you?
615-822-0750 is the office. 615-440-7011 is my cell. We're at OneStopRealtyTN.com. And I would always love to have you guys on Facebook following us and Instagram as well. Watson, how's it going?
Good, Brian. How are you, buddy?
Watson just popped out of there. Looks like an apparition. He's like, hey, I'm here.
They kind of pop me in and out, Brian. I don't know when it's coming. I'm along for the ride, buddy.
We get tired of him. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here. Just get rid of him.
Brian, we'll see you tomorrow.
George, thank you as always, man. Have a great day, okay?
Take care. Okay, Watson, you ready to go to the phones?
Let's go.
Let's start in Nolensville. Tony, what is on your mind today?
Hello, George, Watson. Hello, Billy. I tell you what, George, I've got two little baseball things I want to talk about. Then I've got a little pop trivia question that's a very easy question y'all should be able to answer, but it's one you could also stump your toe on. So I'll ask that in just a minute.
Let's hear it.
But two quick things I want to talk about baseball, guys. George, last night, I don't know if you saw it, but they had a minor league Field of Dreams game last night.
No, I didn't. Where was it?
It was at the Field of Dreams.
At the field, okay.
At the field, and right there. So and I was hoping you'd have Danny on this week because I'm sure he put this together. It was a heck of a game. It was single A, and it was Cedar Rapids Bunnies playing the Davenport Blue Sox, who I think is part of the Royals. I'm not sure about the Bunnies.
I've always been a big fan of the Bunnies.
Well, I like them and the Biscuits down in Montgomery.
Yeah.
Something like that. But Davenport beat them 8-2. But they did a Field of Dreams game last night, minor league, first time ever. So
love it.
You might want to put that in back when you talk to Danny.
Absolutely.
It was really a great success, and looking forward to that tomorrow night as well. And another statement, or another tidbit I saw this weekend that was really, really shocking. This past weekend, the Cardinals and Yankees game, they had Joe Torre bobblehead night. It drew, the crowd attendance was almost 49,000.
Yeah, largest crowd in the new Busch Stadium.
Ever. Yeah. And George, I was shocked by that. You go back through the times of Sosa versus McGuire, the All-Star game, the World Series games they played, and that was the largest crowd. What a tribute to Joe Torre.
Well, here's the real answer. They opened that stadium with a capacity in 2004 of about 44,000. They built it probably about 5,000 too small in St. Louis. So little by little, they've been adding seats. And that's really what that number Saturday night was all about, is just they've added enough seats to take care of some more demand.
Well, if anybody would know, I knew the baseball guru, and thank you for that information. That's good stuff. Didn't know that.
So let's get the question.
I'm gonna be real, sir.
Let's get the question.
No, we don't need a trivia.
There's 5. Watson, you better get this. There's 5 active coaches still coaching in college football on the Division I level that's got a natty under their belt. What 5 are those coaches?
Okay, Watson, let's give you the softball.
You got the floor, Watson.
Well, we know my brother's won. Nick Saban's won.
Clemson.
Talk about head coach. They're head coaches, Tony, or they're assistants now?
Head coaches.
Dabo
Head
Sweeney is a third.
Yes, Sweeney is a third.
Okay, those were what we would call the
gimmies, right?
The low hanging fruit. Okay, now this is going to get a little tougher. Let's think about.
It really should.
Ohio State would have all been Urban Meyer.
Yeah, he's not coaching. So
Ryan Day has not won one. Kirby Smart.
Very good.
Would be a fourth.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay, the fifth.
It's got to be back further, I'd say.
Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, there you go.
Good, gentlemen. Very good. I was going to say, Watson, if you didn't get that brother,
I'd be shocked.
Then it would be senility.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good, guys. George, great show today. It was good hearing all the Vanderbilt talk and the high school talk. Looking forward to that on Friday night.
Oh, it'll be good stuff.
Segment.
Thank you.
It'll be good. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good evening.
Watson, how would you have explained that to Mac if you didn't get it?
I would have just run from that one. I'd have took off running. Brother, you mean you couldn't name your brother? I'd have just took off running.
Okay, Clay is next, wanting to talk bush hogging with Watson. Clay, welcome.
George, are you telling me that I can actually hear my boy up on the plateau?
God knows it took us a while, but we've got it. We got it done.
Clay, I can hear you.
I did the math when I was on hold, and I don't know how long y'all had this wonderful phone system going because I got you both loud and clear. Today is the 30th day since the show started. So
wow.
Maybe it just took about 30 days.
Somebody's keeping track.
That is not true.
What? After this rain, big boy, if it's not raining in the morning, Miss Brenda's going to want that property cut. So
we got to get a boat right now if we wanted to bush hog. We're underwater up here, Clay.
We've had quite a bit of rain here in Nashville too. I wanted to talk a little Vanderbilt football if I could. This time of year rolls around, and as y'all know, I bleed black and gold. I will say this: I have not personally had the chance to meet Clark Lee yet, but I certainly was impressed with the things he said in his press conference when he was hired. I took a little bit of exception to kind of his demeanor with the team last year. I know he's kind of getting his feet wet and things like that. I just thought at times I would have liked to see him a little bit more engaged with the coaches, a little bit more engaged with the players. And I think that's going to change because I saw a little bit of a change near the end of the season. But our play-by-play guy now that we don't have Joe Fisher anymore, and I might butcher his name, Adam Archuleta, is that correct?
Close, but Andrew Allegretta.
Andrew Allegretta, okay. He says that, he's gone to practice some, and my sources tell me through social media he's put it out there that the talent level on this team this year as opposed to last year, looks a lot different. But I think these non-conference games, the schedule sets up a little bit different this year because Vandy plays their 4 non-conference games, and then they play 8 straight against the SEC, starting with Tricky Nicky down in T-Town, which won't be very fun. But anyway, I think it's critical, guys, that Vandy wins, at least 3 of these 4 non-conference game. And I heard some news today, maybe y'all have heard this. Supposedly, Wake Forest starting quarterback is going to be out for that game. He's going to be out for the first several games of the year. Have y'all heard that?
Yeah, there's no way to know at this point because the details are really sketchy. But even though you hate that this might be what helps, it could be a huge factor, even though Wake Forest is pretty darn good. Clay, what I'm going to do for the sake of time is let Watson talk to you a little bit about this off air, if that's okay.
George, real quickly, let me mention, and I think I said something to you on Facebook, but a very well-deserved honor the other night, with your induction and all that.
Thank you.
I think you deserve it. I've supported you for a long time, and I'll continue to support you
God
for
knows
many more years.
I need all the support I can get, Clay. Thank you for the nice words. Watson, take it from there.
Well, the schedule to me, especially if the quarterback doesn't play for Wake Forest, is what I've been talking about. If they were to pull the Coach Snyder deal here and go 4-0 through that part, which they very well could, to me, George, now you go 2-6 the rest of the way and you're in a bowl. And my gosh, you talk about changing mindsets 100% so. And got to keep recruiting, got to build a facility to where you can keep recruiting. I think he's done a great job up till now, and got to win games. And one way you win games is get that non-conference schedule right till you get a team good enough that it won't matter.
Andrew and Franklin, I got about 2 minutes. Do your best.
George, thank you for having me on. Just a quick question. I looked at it last night, and it was something. I'm a big fantasy player, and it said over the last 8 years, the number 1 fantasy running back and the number 1 fantasy wide receiver did not repeat that same level of dominance in the following season. So, taking Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp out of the conversation, who do y'all think is going to step up as this year's best running back and the best wide receiver in the NFL?
Like it. Watson, any thoughts?
I think Derrick Henry comes back and is the guy again. I think he's going to lay it all on the line. I don't know how much more we got with him, but I think he's going to be that. And it's hard for me to go against Deebo Samuel. That kid can just do so many things. He'd be a great fantasy pick, by the way. All he does.
I'm right. You stole them. I'm right there with you on both of them. Ted and Franklin got 2 minutes. Make them the best 2 of your life.
Well, it's great to be on the show. I'm wondering, do you guys think the Patriots will fix their issues on offense, or they're going to have a rough year this year?
Let you hear this off air. Watson, the reports out of Foxborough are really weird. And yet there's always, no matter how, not disorganized, but no matter what the problems are in August, I just refuse to believe that Bill Belichick doesn't know what he's doing, and that offensively, not that they're going to put up 35 a game, but they're going to be okay.
I think Bill's laying in the bushes, George. I do. And I really think he's setting it up and saying, we're not very good right now on offense. And he's got his nose stuck in it again. Got some defensive guys now on the offensive side of the ball. But Mac Jones should take another step up this year. He's good. And he should be better this year than he was last. So a little hard for me to fall for all that stuff. I think Bill's setting them up.
I am right there with you. He is laying in the weeds, and early in the season, you watch. He's going to pounce on somebody that's reading all this bull that's coming out in the paper. Anyway, I know we got to go to the break on that. Thanks to the callers. We're going to do more of this in the days to come. I love being able to use these phones, and it looks like we've got it all squared away. Plaster bet of the day, with a chance to get to the 500 mark tonight. That's coming up next on Main Street Media Television. anything about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit WellSkinMD.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
At Sumner Funeral and Cremation, our mission is to serve families as our own, celebrate the life of their loved one, and help begin the healing process.
My whole family, including my wife and my mom and siblings, were very happy with the treatment that we received. I would highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation.
We offer funeral, burial, cremations, and pre-planning services.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit WellSkinMD.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin.
Oh, yeah. It's time to get to 500. It's time to get a win. Maybe. Billy?
George?
Let's review, shall we?
Let's review. You got back on track last night.
You know why?
Why?
Dodgers are pretty dadgum good.
It's usually a safe bet. And they got the win for you last night.
Yes.
So you're 10-11.
Remember, though, that was minus a run and a half. I didn't just go,
It wasn't a gimme.
No
gimme.
not.
No gimmies for George ever. But so those are the results. Let's get to the bet of the day, powered by Bart Durham Injury Law. Great folks at Bart Durham. Of course, we are happy to have them a part of the show. If you have seen your life interrupted by an injury on a highway, in a hospital, at your workplace, or on unsafe property, you should let their attorneys do the work fighting for the full financial compensation that you need. Learn more about Bart Durham Injury Law by logging on to bartdurham.com. Here is George's bet of the day.
Look at that logo.
ATL. You like that logo?
Who would have ever thought that I would be backing Kyle Wright? Watson, I have always been a fan of this young man.
Yeah, you really have, George. There's you have called Kyle Wright more names in 1 year's time.
Now he's on the.
Now you're betting on him. You're betting with your heart tonight. Mets have already won.
Yes.
You lose tonight, you go down 8 games. They got to win in Boston tonight. You're betting with your heart, boy.
Hey, you can win it all from the wild card. That's the new model.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, that you already shunning away now. You're already saying, well, we got to go for the wild card.
No, I'm being realistic. With DeGrom and Scherzer, it's going to be hard to get the Mets into a long losing streak. Kyle Wright, unfortunately, showed some of the signs of last year's stuff last Thursday night in the opener against the Mets. This is a really important game for him in a ballpark that is not overly conducive to great pitching. I think the Braves will win, but it'll be a high-scoring game. And tomorrow, Watson, we will attempt to get over 500. Book it.
Oh, book it. I love it. Book it.
You like that?
Get ready, Billy. You're going to hear a lot of buckets here when football season starts.
Yeah.
They pick up drastically when football gets here.
You just lean back in that chair.
I did. I'm just sitting saying, what the heck? Let him go. Let him go.
Wind him up and hope
Wind
he
him
shuts
up.
up.
Let him go. That's exactly right.
Did it get real cold up in Cookeville, Watson, all of a sudden?
Yeah, his daggum fans are on in here, and I got cold, man, and it's been raining all day. It's cool outside. I'm an old man, Billy. My blood gets thin, babe.
Watson's fans were. We know
Do
that.
you not like my jacket? Is that your
It's
is there a
nice.
problem with it?
No, I like it's a nice jacket. Looks like
okay.
a nice golf jacket.
You all continue to talk about it. I'm leaving. The show's over. Watson, just remember this. You're talking to a Hall of Famer.
Oh, good God.
Surprised that's the first time we've heard that.
Oh, it won't be the last, pal, believe me.
That is so disgusting.
Great
We're out
front
here.
runner.
See you tomorrow on Main Street Media Television.